Oh na na, oh na.
Isolation is the devil's playground. You see, have you ever been at a place where you had to isolate yourself from things or from people? Have you ever been at a place where you had to be isolated, or you actually isolated yourself because you felt like no one around you understood you? No one around you thought that you were good enough. You had to set yourself apart and away from things and from people who you felt were good enough for you. Is there at any point in your life where you felt like, I wasn't good enough? They don't deserve me. I mean, they're too good for me. Is there a time in your life where you devalued yourself because of what you were going through? You saw yourself as worthless just because you allowed the circumstances you were in to define you. You see, today I'm going to talk about isolation. But on this case, I'm going to focus on isolation from the enemy's side. And as I said before, isolation is the devil's playground. Isolation is something that the enemy uses to set you away from people so that he may be able to attack you, to set yourself away from things that actually matter to you so that he may be able to put you at a place where no one else can save you, no one else can understand you. And he brings all these thoughts to mind to make you feel like you're less valued, like you're less loved, like you're not important to people, and no one will even notice you. And maybe you're there asking yourself, what really is isolation? You see, isolation is being set apart or separated from other things or other people. Isolation means a complete separation from others. And I'm sure most of us have gone through things and situations where we had to isolate ourselves. Personally, I've been at a place where I had to isolate myself because I felt like they don't understand what I'm going through. They haven't been where I've been. No one knows the kind of emotions I'm battling with. But you see, all along, this was the enemy trying to make me feel like I wasn't loved. This was the enemy trying to make me feel like no one really cared for me so that he may be able to find a perfect opportunity to pounce on me. Looking at the picture that is on right now, before the predator can actually pounce on the prey, he makes sure that no one else is around you. He makes sure that no one else is there to protect you or even to save you. And just when you're right there alone, right there in the situation alone, that is when he pounces on you. That is when he attacks you. You see, right there in the situation where you feel like no one can save me from this. No one can be able to love me. You see, I'm imperfect. You see, I'm too much for anyone. That is right there the devil trying to fill you with thoughts of making you believe that no one is there for you, making you believe that no one can actually love you. And he brings a lot of thoughts to you and he makes you feel bad about yourself, telling you just look at yourself. You're not pretty. You don't know how to dress. You don't have a sense of style. Just look at how you chew. No one values you. You see, they're too busy for you. But most of the time, when we look around, we are actually surrounded by people who love us. When we look around, we are actually surrounded by a God who cares for us, by a God who sees right through the pain that we are going through. But the enemy makes sure that he isolates us from everything. He isolates us and brings challenges in our lives that set us away from the word of God, set us away from the hope, which is the word of God. You see, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And if really whatever God speaks about our lives is true, then from the beginning, God knew that we will go through challenges. From the beginning, God knew that we will face self-esteem issues. But one thing I love about our God is that He gave us hope in His Word, and each and every single day as we go through it, He gives us a guarantee and an assurance that I will never leave you nor forsake you. But you see, the enemy puts you at a place where you think that no one is actually there with you. And that's where we go wrong, because we give him a chance and an opportunity to attack us by isolating ourselves. We help him in isolating us from others, from the people who genuinely care, from the things that really matter to us. That career, that relationship, that ministry, that family, that friend, everybody that God has brought in your life to help you in doing life together. But the enemy brings this bad picture to make us feel that, you know what, no one really actually cares. But that is where we go wrong, because I know of a God who cares. I know of a God who sees right through that pain. I know of a God who can take you up right through from that isolation point. You see, you don't have to live there anymore. You don't have to give the devil a leeway again to attacking you. You don't have to give the devil a helping hand in attacking you, in attacking your finances, in attacking your health, in attacking your joy. All you have to do is give it all to God. That pain, that trauma, that heartbreak, that challenge, that stigma, that anxiety, that depression, surrender it all unto God and see God working through it and around it. Surrender it to God and see God taking charge over everything that has been holding you back, that from everything that has been holding your joy back. You don't have to live in isolation anymore. You don't have to listen to the voice of the enemy anymore telling you that you don't matter, because you actually do. Telling you that you're not beautiful enough, because the word of God says that I am beautifully and wonderfully made. So the question that I pose to you at this time is, whose report will you believe? Will you believe in the report of the enemy? Will you believe in the report of God, who says that you're wonderfully and beautifully made? Who says that you're the head and never the tail? Who says that you're above and never beneath? Who says that you're the first and never the last? Whose report will you believe? Whose report will you believe? Will you choose to continue staying in isolation and helping the devil to attack you? Or will you choose to give it all to God and be like, you know what, God, I've tried it on my own and I've failed. So this is me handing over to you, handing over my anxiety to you, handing over my dreams to you, handing over depression to you, because I've tried it on my own and I have failed. I've tried it with family, but they weren't able to help me. I've tried it on my own, and every time I try on my own, I screw up. And so, God, this is me handling it all unto you, because I know that you're able to do exceedingly and above what I can imagine or even think of. Hand over to God. You don't have to stay in isolation anymore. You don't have to continue staying in that playground of isolation anymore. You don't have to entertain the enemy anymore, because you actually do have a choice to hand it over to God, because He really cares. And so isolation is the devil's playground. And I challenge you to believe in the report of the Lord, who says that you're beautiful, who says that you matter, who says that you're valuable, and that you're the apple of His eye, and that you are loved by a perfect love from a perfect Father.